Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with PhatPhil, and it's been a minute, haven't been able to really release some content, so I do apologize, but as you guys knew, for those of you in the Discord, I was on a work trip, and every time I travel for work, I always bring my laptop and my recording equipment, and I'm like, alright, I'm gonna find some time to create content, and I don't know why I do it. It's like such in vain, because I never get the time. Like when I traveled, the first day I was, whether it was traveling to or from airports or at the plant, I was, quote unquote, working in that sense for about 14 hours. The next day I was at the plant working from 6 a.m. until 10:15. The day after that, Friday, I was there from 6 to 6. And then Saturday, I was up at 4 a.m. to catch my flight home, which I got at, got home around 3, and then immediately left after that because my wife and I had plans to go see Bert Kreischer and comedy show. So it was exhausting. So I appreciate everybody not having, the PhatPhil content. We got a lot of updates that, again, you guys have seen already. What I want to talk about right now is some of the balancing that I'm going through in regard to Hondo, Relic 10, Relic 9, these new Marquees, and how I'm looking at spending my crystals moving forward. And this is something that I feel many of you will also have to have that conversation about. I think the way we spend crystals is going to drastically change once this new Marquee progression system hits for the anniversary. We also got our anniversary rewards up here, which I will, share with you guys because I have some thoughts there that, we'll talk about. And then there is something that I do want to share as well that, we'll kind of discuss. So with that said, quick shout out to the channel members for their continued support, especially when I was gone. You guys are the best. Really appreciate everyone just understanding that sometimes some things need to take precedent over Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes because this is not my full-time job. This does not pay my bills. This is just fun, and I really enjoy getting to hang out with you guys. So thank you again. Let's get in here, and let's just catch up on all the stuff that is PhatPhil. Alright, so as I said, I've got a lot of balancing going on. So we are in the process of getting Hondo, right? We are in the process of getting Hondo. I can't even click on Journey Guide. There we are. The only thing that's stopping me is Captain Silvo. And this has been pissing me off because he should have been farmable about a week ago. And instead they're like, oh, he's in chromiums and packs. And you're like, he was already there. Like, he was already in shipments. This, I really can say, this is pissing me off. Because if this was a situation where they were supposed to be releasing a monetization pack and it was a week delayed in the game, they would have moved heaven, hell, and earth to get it in the game. But because it's a character going to a farmable node, oh, not a big deal. And listen, I understand this is 100% coming from a place of FOMO of me not having Hondo yet. And 100%, Hondo is one of the most impactful. I'd say he's probably the second most impactful galactic legend in regard to the advantage you have over your opponent by having him. It's not that there aren't counters. It's just what it takes to counter him is so expensive that it makes you having him over your opponent gives you such a significant advantage offensively and defensively that it takes away a lot of the surprise, a lot of, areas that maybe, okay, this could work to where, here's where you're at. I truly believe that because it's not, you got to recognize sometimes, it's not that even Hondo will always get the holds, but what you need to kill Hondo, now you don't have that for this team, and this team, and this team, and you just reduce your opponent's options down to the point that they're doing risky battles simply because you're able to set so much more. So yeah, I 100% FOMO, it really is annoying, I need this guy to be farmable. But with all of that said, I'm still not confident in spending my crystals to get Captain Silvo. As much as it annoys me right now, I recognize that with the current Datacron situation, Hondo is at the peak of his powers, right? In regards to the lack of data surrounding him, the Datacrons, all of that stuff, he's at his peak. And he's going to start coming down. The longer he's in the game, he loses that power because we understand how to kill him. We understand it, things change. So I'm not willing to spend those crystals right now because we have this new Marquee system coming. And again, the characters are not yet in the game, I don't think. But we got all the kits for the new characters coming with the anniversary era. They're going to be Marquees that I'm going to want to make sure that I can get to, 5-star inside of that Marquee system. Because if you remember in the update, 5 stars will unlock the character at relics. And that's really important. For me to be able to get a character at just, say, Relic 2, that's no Kyrotech spent, no Gear 13 spent. That means the way I spend my resources outside of, the way I spend other resources can change. So now with my guild event, with my Mark II raid currency, instead of worrying about this stuff, I can worry about buying relic materials. Instead of worrying about, buying any kind of core gear or Kyrotechs, I can start to use those because remember in the scavenger, we're going to be able to use Kyrotechs to build other materials. So now those 400 Kyrotech I would have spent can go somewhere else. So that's a big change. That's a big deal for an account like mine who is able to at least get these characters to 5-star, even if I'm not whaling the entire way. So what that opens up then is kind of where I'm at now, where my bottleneck is the character shards and my bottleneck is the signal data. So I'm not even doing mod refreshes right now. I'm not doing ship refreshes, even doing mod refreshes, not even doing regular, just doing Cantina refreshes to earn signal data, because that's all I'm really lacking right now. And that signal data is being saved so I can take Hondo's entire team to Relic 9. Right, that's literally what we're doing. I have everything to take the entire team to Relic 9, and then I'm actually planning to take Ahsoka's entire team to Relic 9. Part of that is related to Relic Delta, and part of that is related to territory battles, territory wars, Grand Arena. Those are just 2 teams that I think really benefit from those extra relics, and I'd like to get them there. So we're pushing this, we're pushing my account as hard as it can go to get those resources. And you may be wondering, well, Phil, you have, the relics now to at least get, Ezra and maybe somebody else to Relic 9. Why haven't you done it already? And it's because that update, again, is saying, hey, you're not going to need the 30 fragmented signal data to go from 8 to 9. Now, this doesn't sound like a lot. You're thinking 30, Phil, that's not a big deal. But in PhatPhil math, when you do Cantina refreshes, that's about 3 refreshes worth of Cantina energy. So a day of refreshes, that's not nothing. That's about 300 crystals that I can save myself. So yeah, kind of waiting. Once that goes active, we'll be making some progress while we just wait on friggin' Captain Silvo shards. And again, I don't feel like I can spend the crystals here knowing I may need them to interact with the Marquees to get them where I need to in the new era content. Because the new era content is going to be where Relic 10 comes into play. And I want to get Relic 10 so I can be proactive with it. I want to understand where I think it's going to have the biggest impact, and then I can start to use it in my account. I don't want to just throw Relic 10 on Darth Revan because I think that it's going to make Leviathan faster. Like, if it doesn't make it fast enough, it won't matter. It's not going to get any more holds on defense if you can still get your Leviathan to bring out Scimitar first. That's just not that's not a thing that I'm worried about, right? I'm more worried about having those Relic 10s on characters that will allow me to get additional holds or allow me to do some things that right now maybe I can't do. So that's a big area where this account is at and where it's heading. And for you guys, where you're at in the game, the way you're going to spend crystals is going to start changing. Because again, as I said a couple of times, Kyrotech, if you're able to unlock these characters in the era without having to spend as much Kyrotech, well, now the planets like Mandalore and Zepho become that much more important. Because if you can get to Mandalore, you can get to Zepho, you can increase all the Kyrotechs you're getting in a month, and you're not having to spend as many of those Kyrotechs on the new Marquee characters that are coming into the game, that now opens it up that you might not need to do as many refreshes of your regular energy, which saves you crystals, which those crystals can be invested in the Marquees, or can be invested in signal data, or whatever other resources you may need to be successful in the game. So I did want to make sure that that is something that we addressed here, and something that I'm really looking forward to on my account is I already have enough Kyrotech that I'm not running out of stuff. So I'm not planning on even doing refreshes once it does become, something in the scavenger, because my feeling will be I'm going to have enough of it that it won't be as big of a problem, and that I'll still want to invest more of my resources into everything and all signal data stuff, because I still feel that's where I'm going to end up being bottlenecked. Now, switching gears to the anniversary rewards that we've got here. So this is 6. So again, a new, icon, new title, 10 Clone Wars Chewie shards. Love to see that. 10 Omicrons, 30 Zetas, 50 Omegas, 10 shards of all these characters. Again, 10 years, getting lots of 10s, right? Love to see it. 45 of each. Kyra Tech is nice. Then we get 10 full Carbanis, 10 full eyeballs, Mark V droid collars, and stun gun salvage. Love to see it. 50, 80, and 100 of the signal data. Again, love to see it. Getting lots of, getting a lot of carbonite circuit boards and bronze wiring is nice. But then coming down here to 10 droid brains, Gerda keypads, error magnifiers, impulse detectors. That is all awesome. Lots of mod resources for the lower tiers. And the thing is with these lower tier resources, these are super annoying, right? Like these pieces in here become really annoying in the late game. So getting those is awesome. Obviously, I'd love to get more than 20 of these things, like especially these I'm always out of, but I will take whatever I can get. So overall, pretty solid rewards. That's a good bit of stuff. I don't think we normally get this much of everything. So we're going to claim that because I freaking love to see it. So that is awesome. Again, extra signal data going to help us get to additional relics there. We also, if you are on the PC client, have access to the Clone Wars Chewie Relic 9 Lightspeed bundle. Again, this is a lie. Oh, it says ability tier 7. Sorry, Relic 9. I was reading that wrong. That's my mistake. This is not a lie. $5 for a Relic 9 Clone Wars Chewbacca. I mean, what's not to love about that? Again, very similar to the Cup Lightspeed bundle. I think that getting Clone Wars Chewbacca, even though he's not a highly desirable character, in fact, mine is down here. Even though he's not a highly desirable character, still getting him to Relic 9 is a big deal, whether it's just for territory battles where a character, for example, like Ahsoka, she can basically solo the planet Vandor. She can go into the Vandor battle and solo that with just a Clone Wars Chewbacca sitting there. So it's another less Relic 9 that you would have to invest early on. And again, it just, boosts your GP. So I think a lot of people will be hopping on that one. Because again, $5 for a Relic 9, I mean, you're going to take it, right? It doesn't, obviously we'd love if that was a Relic 9, if it was a character that was maybe useful, we'd all jump on it even more. But I still think for a Clone Wars Chewbacca, why wouldn't you do it? That's extra GP. You're going to help you out. And again, we are getting another Wookiee, right? We're getting Yobaka. So, or Chota, however you want to say him, right? We're getting another Wookiee, and that might make someone like Clone Wars Chewbacca a lot more useful. Because again, maybe that allows you to use Clone Wars Chewie. You think about the Tarful Wookiee mission. I'm using Chewbacca and 3PO and Chewie inside of that team because those are the Wookiees that I've chosen to use. But that means I can't use CLS. Now you get a Clone Wars Chewbacca, maybe, the new Wookiee allows you to use some other characters in that mission and you can still split off CLS. So that is a big, that is something that I did want to bring up, that, some of these things have usage that you might not see right away, and it will just allow you to maybe spread your roster out a little bit more. So a lot more to come. I will have some other, again, we're going to get some more content out, guys. Really appreciate everyone just sticking around. If you're still watching right now, go ahead. Wampa is king in the comments. You guys know the drill. Really appreciate it. I did want to say one last thing. That I want to give a shout just to the community in general. I have seen a lot of really positive comments lately. And as much as I am, pissed off that Silvo isn't farmable yet, I still have to say that I think CG is doing a lot of really good things, and you guys are giving them the credit for it, and that's really important. It's great to see that they're earning back some of that PR that was so bad for a while. It's good to see that changing a little bit. I'm really excited for this next anniversary update and how it allows us to change the way we play the game. So, again, folks, thank you for everything. I will see you in the next video. I love you all. May the force be with you. Cheers, my friends.